Imagine your morning. You wake up, maybe to an alarm, maybe to the gentle light filtering through your window. The sun has risen, as it has every single day of your life, and every day for the last 4.5 billion years of Earth's history. This celestial furnace about 93 million miles away is the silent, constant provider for our world. It fuels our weather, drives our oceans, and nourishes the very base of our food chain. Without it, life as we know it simply couldn't exist. The sun is not just a bright object in the sky, it is the engine of our planet, the source of all our energy, the heart of our solar system. Every photon of light that warms your skin began its journey from the sun's core thousands of years ago, finally bursting from its surface to make the trip to Earth. This energy is the lifeblood of our planet. It powers photosynthesis in plants, which in turn creates the oxygen we breathe and the food we eat. The sun's warmth keeps our world from becoming a frozen, desolate rock, maintaining the liquid water essential for every known form of life. It's easy to take this daily gift for granted, to see the sunrise as a simple, mundane event, but in its reliable appearance lies the profound story of our existence, a cosmic pact between a star and its planet. But what if that pact were broken? What if, without any warning, the sun simply went out? One moment a churning, burning star, the next a cold, dark sphere. The very concept is terrifying because it strikes at the core of our reality, upending the most fundamental certainty of our existence. This isn't just about a loss of daylight, it's about the unraveling of our world, the systematic shutdown of every natural process that sustains us. The story of what happens next is a journey into the deepest, coldest truths of physics, a chilling exploration of our profound dependence on that distant, fiery star. Let's embark on this thought experiment. It's a journey that will take us from the last moments of sunlight to the ultimate fate of our world. We will trace the cascading effects, from the initial shock and confusion to the slow, inexorable freezing of our planet. This is not a tale of fantasy, but a story written in the laws of thermodynamics and gravity. It is the story of Earth without its star, a cosmic orphan cast adrift in the cold, dark void of space. Prepare yourself, for the day the sun dies is the day our world begins its final, dramatic transformation into something utterly alien. The moment the sun ceases to exist, a profound cosmic event occurs. The thermonuclear reactions that have raged for eons in its core suddenly stop. The light, the heat, the solar wind, all of it halts instantly. Yet, here on Earth, nothing changes. Not yet. We would remain blissfully unaware, basking in the warmth of a star that is already gone. This is because light, the universe's ultimate speedster, still takes time to travel. It zips through the vacuum of space at an incredible 186,282 miles per second, but the distance between us and the sun is so vast, approximately 93 million miles, that its final rays need time to complete their journey to us. For precisely 8 minutes and 20 seconds, everything would seem perfectly normal. Children would play in parks, commuters would sit in traffic, and satellites would continue their orbits, all under the glow of a phantom sun. This brief period of ignorance is a stark reminder of our place in the cosmos. We are always living in the past, seeing stars not as they are, but as they were minutes, years, or even millennia ago. The light from our own sun is 8 minutes old. The light from Alpha Centauri, our nearest stellar neighbor, is over 4 years old. We are cosmic historians, observing echoes of events that have long since transpired across the vastness of space. Then, it happens. Abruptly, and without any warning, the light would switch off. One moment daylight, the next a profound and complete darkness deeper than any night you have ever known. The sky would not fade to twilight, it would snap to black. The moon, which shines only by reflecting sunlight, would vanish. The only light remaining would be the distant, pinprick glow of the stars, and the faint, artificial lights of our own cities. Imagine the collective shock, the worldwide confusion. People everywhere would look up, searching for an explanation that science itself could barely comprehend. The sun, our constant companion, would be gone. This sudden plunge into darkness would be accompanied by another, more subtle cosmic change. The sun's immense gravity is what holds our solar system together, keeping Earth and its planetary siblings locked in their predictable orbits. Just as light takes 8 minutes to reach us, so too does gravity. It propagates at the speed of light. So at the exact same moment the darkness hits Earth, would be released from its gravitational leash. No longer tethered to its star, our planet would fly off into interstellar space, continuing in a straight line, a rogue world embarking on a new, unguided journey through the galaxy. The initial panic of global darkness would be overwhelming, but a more insidious threat would quickly follow: the cold. Earth has a significant amount of thermal energy stored in its atmosphere, oceans and crust, a leftover warmth from millennia of solar radiation. But without the sun's constant input, this heat would immediately begin to radiate away into the cold vacuum of space. Temperatures would not plummet instantly, but the drop would be steady and relentless. Within the first day, the global average temperature would fall below freezing, plunging to around 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit. The first night would truly be the beginning of a long, unending winter for planet Earth. Within a week, the situation would become dire. The global average temperature would plummet to a chilling -18 degrees Celsius or 0 degrees Fahrenheit. This is colder than a typical winter in Siberia. Frost would cover everything, and snow would begin to fall not just in the polar regions but across the entire planet, even at the equator. This wouldn't be the fluffy, picturesque snow of a winter holiday. It would be the beginning of a permanent ice age, a global blanket of white that would grow thicker with each passing day. The very air would feel thin and brittle, and the world would take on an eerie, frozen silence. The loss of the sun would mean the end of photosynthesis, the fundamental process that sustains nearly all life on Earth. Plants convert sunlight into energy, forming the base of the food chain. Without light, this process would stop instantly. All plants from the smallest blade of grass to the mightiest redwood tree would begin to die. This would have a catastrophic cascading effect on the ecosystem. Herbivores deprived of their food source would be the first animals to perish. Carnivores would follow soon after, as their prey disappeared. Our planet's vibrant green biosphere would wither and die in a matter of weeks. For humanity, the immediate challenge would be survival against the encroaching cold. Surface life would become impossible without significant technological intervention. People would need to seek shelter deep underground in mines or specially constructed bunkers to escape the freezing temperatures and harness the Earth's geothermal heat. The world's power grids, heavily reliant on fossil fuels which are ancient stored solar energy, and hydroelectric dams powered by the sun-driven water cycle, would eventually fail. Humanity's struggle would shift from one of progress and discovery to a desperate, primal battle for warmth and sustenance in a world cloaked in eternal night. As the first month draws to a close, the Earth would be a vastly different world. The surface would be a desolate wasteland of ice and snow, with temperatures dropping to an unimaginable -73 degrees Celsius, or about -100 degrees Fahrenheit. The once mighty oceans, which cover over 70% of our planet's surface, would begin a dramatic transformation. A thick crust of ice, several meters deep, would form over their entire expanse. This layer of ice would act as an insulator, temporarily protecting the vast volume of liquid water still churning in the dark depths below. The familiar sounds of crashing waves and flowing rivers would cease, replaced by an unsettling, profound silence. Life in the oceans would face a grim future. Surface-dwelling creatures, from phytoplankton to whales, would perish quickly without sunlight and access to the atmosphere. However, life in the deepest parts of the ocean might cling on for a while longer. Ecosystems clustered around hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor do not rely on sunlight. Instead, they derive their energy from the chemical reactions fueled by heat seeping from the Earth's core. These bizarre communities of tube worms, crabs, and bacteria, which have thrived in total darkness for eons, would continue to exist, oblivious to the catastrophe that had unfolded on the surface. They would be the last bastion of complex life on Earth. The atmosphere itself would begin to change. As the planet cooled, the gases that make up our air would start to condense and freeze. First, water vapor would precipitate out as snow. Then, as temperatures continued their relentless plunge, carbon dioxide would freeze into dry ice. Eventually, after many months or years, the very oxygen and nitrogen that we breathe would turn into a liquid, and then a solid, snowing down onto the frozen surface. The sky would effectively collapse, leaving the Earth as an airless ball of ice, stripped of its protective atmospheric blanket, and exposed directly to the harshness of interstellar space. In this frozen world, only the hardiest of microorganisms could survive. Certain bacteria and extremophiles, capable of entering a dormant, cryopreserved state, might endure, buried deep within the Earth's crust or frozen within the ice. They would be the silent keepers of Earth's biological legacy, a faint spark of life waiting for a warmth that would never return. For all intents and purposes, Earth would be a dead planet, a ghost world sailing through the cosmos. Its vibrant history of evolution and civilization would be locked away beneath a global tomb of ice, a silent monument to the star it once called its own. The long-term fate of Earth would be one of a slow, inexorable descent into the deepest cold imaginable. After a year, the surface temperature would stabilize at around minus 240 degrees Celsius, or about minus 400 degrees Fahrenheit. This is cold enough to freeze nitrogen solid. The atmosphere would be gone, having rained down and formed a layer of frozen gas on top of the water ice. The planet would be an airless ice ball, silently gliding through the darkness of space. The insulating layer of ice over the oceans would grow thicker and thicker, but it would take hundreds of thousands of years for the oceans to freeze completely solid, all the way to the seabed. Humanity's chances for long-term survival would be infinitesimally small. The few who might have made it into geothermal-powered bunkers would face a monumental struggle. They would need to create a completely self-sufficient ecosystem deep underground, recycling every drop of water and every breath of air. Their energy source would be the residual heat from the Earth's core, a finite resource that, while vast, would slowly diminish over geological timescales. These last survivors would live in a world without a sky, without nature, and without any hope of ever returning to the surface. They would be prisoners on their own dying planet. Over thousands of years, the Earth would continue its journey as a rogue planet. Its path would be governed by the gravitational pulls of other stars and celestial bodies it might encounter. It could be captured into orbit around another star, beginning a new chapter as a frozen alien moon. Or it could be flung by a close gravitational encounter into the deep, empty space between galaxies, destined to wander alone for eternity. More dramatically, its random trajectory could eventually lead to a collision with another planet or star, a final, fiery end to its long, cold journey through the night. The memory of the sun would fade into legend for any descendants of the survivors, a myth of a time when the world was warm and bathed in light. The other planets in our solar system would share a similar fate. Without the sun's gravity, they too would scatter, each flying off in its own direction. Jupiter might hold on to its moons for a time, a miniature solar system adrift in the dark, but eventually, even these systems would likely be torn apart by gravitational encounters. The beautiful, orderly clockwork of our solar system would be completely dismantled, its components scattered across the vast emptiness of the Milky Way galaxy. As millennia turn into millions of years, the Earth would become just another cold, dark object in the vast cosmic wilderness. Its past as a vibrant, life-bearing world would be completely erased from its surface, hidden beneath miles of solid ice. The geothermal heat from its core would continue to seep outwards, but it would be a losing battle against the near-absolute zero of interstellar space. The planet's core would slowly cool and solidify, and the last vestiges of geological activity, including the hydrothermal vents that supported the final pockets of life, would cease. Earth would become a geologically dead world, a solid ball of rock and ice. The journey through the galaxy would be a lonely one. Our rogue planet would drift through enormous voids of empty space for eons. Occasionally it might pass through a glowing nebula, its frozen surface briefly illuminated by the light of newborn stars, a ghostly reminder of the light it once knew. It might wander close enough to other star systems to have its trajectory altered, sent careening in a new direction. The chances of being captured by another star are incredibly slim. Space is, by and large, overwhelmingly empty. For all practical purposes, Earth's destiny would be one of perpetual, solitary wandering. This scenario, while terrifying, offers a profound perspective on our place in the universe. It highlights our utter dependence on the delicate balance of cosmic forces that make our existence possible. Our sun is not merely a convenience, it is the anchor of our world, the engine of life. We live on a privileged planet, in a stable system, in a quiet neighborhood of the galaxy. The story of the sun going out reminds us that this stability is not guaranteed. The universe is a dynamic and sometimes violent place. Our existence is a precious and perhaps fleeting exception to the cold, dark rule, yet there is a strange and solemn beauty in this final chapter. Even as a dead, frozen world, Earth would continue its cosmic dance. It would carry the fossilized remains of our civilization in the frozen genetic code of all life that ever was, a silent time capsule hurtling through the cosmos. Who knows what its ultimate fate would be? Perhaps billions of years from now it could be discovered by another intelligent species, a mysterious artifact from a long-dead system. The story of Earth would not truly end. It would simply become a part of the larger, unending story of the cosmos, a testament to a world that once was, warmed by a sun that is no more.